Hey everyone, and welcome back to Underdog Investing. Today I'd like to talk about Roblox. So I'd like to go through 3 sections. Firstly, I'd like to talk about the ARK Invest 2021 Big Ideas Report and go through the Virtual Worlds section just to demonstrate the size of the market that Roblox is tapping into. And then I'd like to talk a bit about an article released by the Motley Fool, which demonstrates Roblox's business model and how they're potentially going to generate plenty of money in the future. And then I'd like to finish by talking about the stock price and what I'm planning to do with the stock today. Before I jump into the video, I'll be grateful if you can smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for future updates. So let's jump straight into it. Starting with the Big Ideas 2021 report, where they detail 13 different ideas which we definitely shouldn't miss in the near future. Virtual worlds was one of them. So by virtual worlds, what ARK Invest mean are video games, augmented reality and virtual reality. So a virtual world is defined as a computer simulated environment that can be accessed by anyone at any time. Society interacts daily with virtual worlds which today are in their infancy. And ARK Invest believe that the revenue from virtual worlds will compound 17% annually from roughly $180 billion today to $390 billion by 2025. So it's a massive opportunity. So let's have a look at some of the charts created by ARK Invest now. So the first one is the monetization of video games. And if we have a look at these charts, you can see that the purple section represents the percentage of revenue generated in the gaming industry by the actual selling of games. So they call that premium games. And if you have a look at the green section, that's the percentage of revenue generated by in-game purchases. And you can see that in 2010, the majority of revenue was generated by just selling of the game, and only 20% was made through in-game purchases. And you can see that just 5 years later in 2015, it became a 50-50 split. And then by 2020, that flipped around. And suddenly now, in-game purchases was accounting for the majority of revenue created in the gaming industry. And it was actually 75% as opposed to 25% from the actual selling of games. And ARK Invest believe this trend will continue, and they think that the in-game purchases percentage in terms of revenue generated could reach 95% by 2025. Moving on to what ARK Invest believe the gaming revenue could generate in the future globally, we've got a green line which demonstrates their base case and then a purple line which demonstrates their bull case. So if we have a look here, in 2020 we actually hit a revenue of around $130 billion. And 5 years later, by 2025, ARK Invest's base case is around $230 billion of revenue in the global virtual gaming industry. In their bull case, they think this could reach $350 billion, and that's a 21% compound annual growth rate in the next 5 years. And the other thing they just mentioned here is that they think that the average amount of time spent playing games per person is going to increase from about 1.1 hours per day now to about 1.5 hours per day in the future. And that's actually a massive amount, and it's a big difference. It's almost 50% difference. And finally, ARK Invest here are just showing how the virtual worlds market could reach $400 billion in terms of addressable market by 2025. So starting with the global gaming market size, in 2020, the actual global gaming market size was $170 billion in terms of revenue. And ARK believe that this is going to grow at a rate of 16%, so a compound annual growth rate of 16%. And that's going to reach $365 billion by 2025. And that's actually despite the fact that the actual in-game, so basically the premium spend, which is when you actually purchase the game, that revenue is actually going to go down. So where the significant amount of revenue is going to increase is the in-game purchases. Now, if we have a look at the global augmented reality and virtual reality market size, you can see that they think this is going to grow even faster at a compound annual growth rate of 59% per year. And right now, the global augmented reality and virtual reality market size is $3 billion, but ARK believe that it's going to grow to $28 billion in the next 5 years. So 28 billion plus 365 billion, that's a $400 billion addressable market for virtual worlds. And the reason why I wanted to cover this Big Ideas report before I talk about the Roblox business model is because I just wanted to demonstrate to you just the massive size of the industry that Roblox is actually tapping into. So before I jump into the article which demonstrates the business model of Roblox, I just wanted to go through their mission statement, which is found on their investor relations page. So Roblox's mission is to build a human co-experience platform that enables billions of users to come together to play, learn, communicate, explore, and expand their friendships. Roblox is powered by a global community of over 8 million developers who produce their own immersive multiplayer experiences using Roblox Studio, our intuitive desktop design tool. Okay, so now let's talk about this very good article now. So CEO David Baszucki and Eric Cassell founded Roblox in 2004 with a vision of connecting people through immersive virtual worlds. On Roblox, users create games and play games created by other users. Initially, Roblox had a user base of several hundred people. Today, more than 36 million users play and interact on Roblox on a daily basis. So we've got a massive amount of users actually on Roblox every day right now. And so there are two crucial parts to Roblox's business model. So the first part is the gaming platform on which users, so developers and gamers, build and play games. So here we've got 7 million developers, so it's actually 8 million now, who are building what Roblox calls experiences. So these are games, virtual items, and worlds. And thanks to Roblox's tools, it is easy for even children to create exciting games using Lego-like blocks instead of code. And with 18 million experiences available to choose from, Roblox can easily attract new users and retain old ones. And as more users join Roblox's platform and spend money on those games, developers are incentivized to create more engaging content, drawing even more gamers. So it's actually a self-fulfilling cycle. So if you imagine we've got this platform called Roblox and it's got 18 million experiences that we can choose from to play. That's going to draw in plenty of people to come in and want to be part of those experiences. And when you've got more people playing the game, you've actually basically incentivized developers to create more games as well as better quality games. And that's just a self-fulfilling cycle. And if you compare that with some of the biggest industries in the world, or some of the biggest companies like YouTube, Facebook, Amazon and eBay, they all use a similar model where we've got a platform and they are selling the most items that any other, if you compare it with other platforms. And what happens is customers will end up flocking to that platform. And when you've got plenty of customers in that platform, you've got more sellers who want to go onto this platform to sell things. And again, it's like a self-fulfilling cycle. So this is a very bullish thing for me in terms of Roblox's business model. So backed by their sheer size of its community, Roblox has managed to carve out an ecosystem with its own rules, economy and currency. Users don't have to pay to play most games on Roblox, but they can buy and spend Robux, Roblox's in-game currency, to upgrade their avatars with accessories, clothing or special powers. So this goes back to ARK Invest when they talk a bit about how the world is changing from actual purchasing of the game and is switching to increasing amounts of in-game purchases. So that's where the world is headed, and that's what Roblox is basically taking advantage of. So you can see here, users don't have to pay to play most games on Roblox, but where they actually generate a lot of revenue is when people buy the currency, so Robux, and then they actually use it to do things like upgrade avatars, buy accessories, clothing or special powers. So it's really following that business model that ARK Invest believe in. And just to show you how they generate revenue. So to generate revenue, Roblox gets a 30% cut on user spending. The rest goes to developers on the platform. So I just wanted to point that out there. So this just demonstrates how much they value their developers. The fact that Roblox only takes 30% of the cut and they give 70%, so the rest of it, to developers, just demonstrates how much they care about the developers and how much they value the work of the developers. That's similar to a platform like YouTube, where YouTube generate money, but they give a lot of actual money to the creators, and I think that creates a sustainable business model. So it also earns a commission when developers convert Robux into real dollars. And so far, all this has worked out well for Roblox. So revenue grew 56% in 2019 to $488 million. And in the first 9 months of 2020, revenue grew even faster, rising 68% to $589 million. Now this part I'm a bit skeptical about, because although they've got a very nice revenue generating model and they've clearly proved that they're able to generate plenty of revenue, I think that the growth in 2020 was a bit artificial. And the reason why I say that is because I think that it was created due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and the fact that there were so many lockdowns and kids can't go to school, so they naturally will end up playing more games, and obviously Roblox benefited from that. So I think that this created an artificial bump in the growth of Roblox, and I'm not 100% sure whether this level of growth is sustainable, but I could be wrong. So this just demonstrates my point. So COVID-19 was a turbocharger for Roblox, just like it was for many other video game companies. Roblox's daily active users jumped 97% year over year in 2020, the fastest rate of growth ever. So Roblox are not only looking to generate revenue in their own country, like in the US, they're actually looking to expand quite aggressively, and that's something that's very bullish. So Roblox is targeting international markets to grow its user base further. It has invested in automated translation technology and a regional compliance system that will help developers reach a bigger global audience. It is also working with Tencent Holdings to grow its business in China, the world's biggest video game market. And this is exactly what we want to see in a company that wants to basically grow their user base by penetrating different markets, especially China, which is basically the biggest video game market out there. And then finally, just in terms of this article, before I jump onto the stock price, so this actual section is just the craziest section that just blew my mind, and this just shows how the actual addressable market for Roblox is just limitless. So beyond gaming, Roblox's potential dramatically widens its addressable market. It aims to evolve into what it calls a human co-experience platform where people can come together to play, learn, and work. For example, Roblox could host virtual classes alongside graduation ceremonies, corporate meetings, and concerts in the future. That might sound crazy, and I probably would have said that sounded crazy if it was about a year ago. But now seeing things like NFTs, so basically non-fungible tokens, which is pretty much basically just digital art, and it's being sold for millions of dollars as we speak now. So if something like that is possible, I definitely see concerts in terms of virtual concerts as well as virtual graduation ceremonies and classes. These are definitely possible, and the addressable market is just limitless. And moreover, as this social network grows, Roblox will become even more attractive as a marketing tool. In fact, major brands like Netflix and Marvel have already introduced branded content onto the platform. So not only is it generating revenue through gaming, it's also becoming a social platform similar to Facebook, and the advertising potential could be huge as well on Roblox. So now we can talk about the stock price. So I'm sure most of you are aware, but basically it went through a direct listing yesterday, so the 10th of March 2021. And what that basically is so it's different to an IPO. An IPO, or initial public offering, is where new shares are created, so that creates share dilution. And you've also got underwriters who are helping out with the process of taking the company public, so that's not so good for the company. So what's better for the company, I think, is a direct listing for a popular company like Roblox, because you don't dilute shares, you're not creating new shares. And the second thing is there's no underwriter fees or commission, so it's actually financially better for the company. And the actual, I think the reference price that was expected was around $45, which gives Roblox a market cap of about $30 billion. But as these public companies that are going public now are just going crazy and skyrocketing, and especially a company like Roblox, which is so and well anticipated, we actually opened up at around $70, so significantly higher than the $45. We reached about, I think, $73, $74, and then we ended the day around $69, $70. We started very high this morning, so around $75, so that's about 8% up. And the reason is because I think there was some news where ARK basically invested and purchased about 519,000 shares, correct me if I'm wrong. And so you can see that we've actually held up pretty well. So I'm going to give you a few reasons why I am not buying the stock anytime soon. The first one is because I've simply run out of money. I've actually been buying the dips during the past few weeks. I haven't timed it perfectly, but I've basically ran out of money and I wasn't able to purchase any more shares. And so I don't actually have any money to purchase Roblox. The second reason is buying a company that just goes public is very risky and volatile, because you really don't know whether it's going to go up or down. So if we compare it with Coupang, so ticker symbol CPNG, which literally just went public today via an IPO, you can see that it's down 15% just in the trading day so far. If you compare that with Roblox, which actually has held up pretty well, so it's very difficult to tell whether it's going to go up or down in the near term. The other reason why I'm going to stay away from this stock for now is because of what I mentioned about the COVID-19 impact on Roblox. I think that it's had a positive impact for a company like Roblox. And I believe that with vaccination rollouts, the lifting of lockdowns and opening up of schools, I think people are going to want to go and enjoy outdoor activities. And that's gonna, at the very least, slow down the growth for Roblox. And I do believe that that is going to scare investors a little bit because it's just so hyped right now. I think that could potentially pull back the stock price slightly. The thing is, I could be wrong and this stock could continue to go up. But given the factors that I've just told you, I'm probably going to hold off, save some money up, and if we do see a nice correction in the future, I'll probably buy then. The other thing is, if I did have a decent amount of money to deploy right now, what I probably would do is buy a small amount of Roblox, because it's not absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it is very high, but it's not just crazy high if you compare it with some of the other things, other companies that went public recently, like Airbnb. So I'll probably purchase a small amount if I had the capital, and then slowly buy the dips if there are any. Anyway, that would be my strategy. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Oops.